Andrew and the stallion of Stag End, Sir Matt, are going out. Both of these are very aggressive fighters. Matt is rocking a Viking shield. You'll notice that he uses the shield not only as a defense but as a weapon, pressing it into Sir Andrew's face to make him turn away so that he can bring his sword into bear.
Right in the liver.
By the way, if this happens to you, it's officially a bad day. You're allowed to take the rest of the day off. Now, Sir Andrew is sneaky. Sir Andrew, flash your shield for a moment. You can see that Sir Andrew keeps a kinjal, which is a pointy, stabby weapon with no edge, so that he can get it when he needs it.
Take ready. Lay on.
Beautiful.
Oh, we're both dead.
Gentlemen, retire the field.
Try and kill each other with their own weapons. One more.
Matt has another really valuable target right here. His beard is very well. Fire from the field.
You got it? For those of you who haven't missed it, Sir Matt, in a bit of well-planned revenge, stole the knife and did the deed. Now, when someone says they're armored, it doesn't mean they have a sword or a weapon. It means that they're wearing a suit of armor. To be armed is to wear armor. If you need a sword, if you need a weapon, you will be able to get your hands on one, possibly from your opponent. Or there'll be plenty on the ground lying in the mud, the blood, and the beer. You will find one. So Jason and Erica, both in chainmail. Chainmail is wonderful armor. It's light, it breathes, it moves. And it resists slashing. To get through chainmail, it's not enough to poke it. You have to thrust into it with the whole weight of your body behind it. Oh! That's a sword to the upper thigh, lots of nice.
I'm stuck on something.
Mr. Jason, can I borrow you for a moment? Can I get a number one strike, please?
Number one strike.
Yep. Strike, strike, strike. And you can walk away with the sword. Sir?
Taught me everything I know. I'm not going to take him on.
I'm not wearing a helmet right now. It's an easy win.
Screwing up.
Your guards, lay on.
You'll notice that they will take strikes to the helmet, even though it is the most heavily armored portion. Just because it won't hurt them. Doesn't. Ow! 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 Hold! 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 Retire from the field. Well done, both of you. Next fighters, Dangerous Dan. You look at Dangerous Dan's pauldrons, the armor on his shoulder. They are beautiful. If you see these ridges, these are very common in Gothic style armors. And they're not just decorative. By banging in these ridges, it actually moves metal out and strengthens the armor. Just like an I-beam in a building, that I shape, that raised corner, will make it tougher, it'll shed a blow better.
Step in.
And AJ returns to the field.
AJ, step in. Are you two grappling? No grappling.
You'll also notice that Dan is using a buckler, a smaller shield on one hand. As armor got better and better, shields got smaller and smaller.
And salute the crowd, the lovely crowd. Take ready. Lay on.
Now, while we talk a lot about chivalry and killing shots, the real reason you had rules of chivalry was to keep knights alive. Because a living knight is far more valuable than a dead one. If you've got a dead one, all you can do is go through their pockets for spare change. If you've got a living one, you can ransom them back to their families for a huge amount of money. So the rules of chivalry were designed to keep the knight alive so that you can gain from them fiscally. When Henry V slaughtered the knights after the battle, it was a very poor act politically, because it made his enemies mad and it made his friends mad, because all his allies were denied that ransom.
Let's get that out of there. All right, retire from the field, you two.
Now, Sir Greg and Sir Ben are going to be doing a series of fights demonstrating different techniques.
Okay, to center.
In this particular case,
All right.
they are going to be showing Fiore passes with the arming sword.
And one and a ring in.
And they'll be finishing off with medieval wrestling, which I'll tell you about once they finish the sword work. So when you're talking Fiore, you're going to look at things called beats. Whenever the sword approaches, they are beating it out of the way, providing an opening for them to get the attack, and that's a finisher.
One more pass. Lay on.
The brain is the most important thing that you can bring to a fight. It's usually not used in that fashion, but whatever works. Sword boys! Remember when I said you could get a sword? Let's see how the Wolverine does when faced with unarmed against a sword. Entrance. And an exit. He couldn't get it. Entrance. And it's over. Now, the last thing you're going to see is a demonstration of ringing, which would have been the knightly art of wrestling.
Safety first.
Safety first.
Ready?
Now, what you're not going to see is a lot of the nastier, vicious stuff, because at the end of the day, we try to be friends. So they're going to keep the punches, elbows, pressure points to a minimum. There's the arm, and the Kindle goes in. And he's got the arm bar as well. Look away, children, look away. Now, when you watched Erica fight, you saw something, which I'll speak to. The sword is a weapon that can be used in multiple ways. You've got a leading edge and a trailing edge. Both can be used in fighting. You've got a point, that goes in the other person. You've got a kyo, or guard, which can be used to protect your head, or it can be used to find a place in your opponent's armor and punch in. And finally, you have the pommel. The pommel adds balance to the sword. It can also be used for a very useful function. Pommel your opponent, which is where we get the derivation for pummel your opponent. One more fight. So, we got one more fight. One more fight. Now, we don't tend to think of there being a Western martial tradition. When you think of martial arts, you think Eastern. Your karate, your kenjutsu, your jujitsu, your aikido. There is a long-standing Western martial arts tradition of which we are a part of. Czech City of Ottawa. You're going to be starting classes in the fall at Dempsey Community Center. We'd love to have you coming out and join us. Minimum age is 14.
Salute your opponents. And salute this lovely crowd.
Yeah. Bring it on.
To your favorite guard. Throw this down yet. Lay on. Let him man.
Now I'm going to give you a bit of a hint about what's going to happen. Matt loves to get in close and wrestle. So the shield is gone. Hold.
Yep. All right, let's get that out of the helmet, shall we?
Everything's my sword and shield back.
One of these.
Those helmets shaped like a Hershey's Kiss on the top. They're great and bullet.
Hey, Dan, beards are